everyone, thanks for tuning in to another video of mine where I will be ranking the Halloween franchise. On my first video on my YouTube channel, I ranked all of the Friday the 13th films, and I gotta say that I appreciate each and every one of you that gave me a thumbs up or left your ranking in the comments. I love hearing other people's opinions on the films, their rankings. I love it. I love having conversations with people about each film. But that being said, I do want to mention that the reason I didn't go in detail on the Friday the 13th films, like my likes and dislikes, is because eventually I do want to release videos one by one of each film to get more in depth. And that's what I'll do with the Halloween franchise as well. But on this video, I'm going to be ranking all 13 of the Halloween films. Just to let you know, Michael Myers is my favorite slasher. The Halloween films are my favorite films of any genre of horror. So this should be a fun video. So let's get started. Coming in at number 13, should be no surprise to anyone, it is Halloween Resurrection. This film is an abomination to the Halloween franchise. Not only is the characters bad and the acting's terrible and Michael's is not even creepy or scary in this film, but they ruined one of the best endings to a Halloween film, which was H2O. And I just feel like this one was rushed. I felt like they didn't really have a good storyline. I know in the early 2000s, the reality show was getting famous, but it just doesn't work with a Michael Myers film. Busta Rhymes was terrible. I can't believe whoever wrote this script and decided to make Busta Rhymes the main character where he knows Kung Fu. The entire film just makes so many bad choices through the entire thing. The score is not even good. Michael's look in this film looks like his mask has makeup. I can't believe what they did to Laurie Strode in the first 15 minutes of the film. And I'm surprised that Jamie Lee Curtis actually signed on to do it, to be honest with you. The main girl, I don't even know her name. She was just so dull. I feel like all these characters just didn't have, the actors just, it was almost like they didn't want to be there for this one. They were just phoning it in, kind of like the girl on the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. But yeah, this film just, honestly, I can't even name anything good about it because even the kills aren't even good in this film. But yeah, this is one that I wish never existed because right off the bat, they already want you, they're trying to convince us, the fans, that Michael crushed the throat of a paramedic, switched suits with him and put the mask on. And so the paramedic this whole time couldn't take the mask off, reveal that it wasn't Michael. You know, at the end of H2O, Laurie slams on a brake. He goes through the glass, rolls over, sits up. Yeah, that was the paramedic the whole time. I'm not buying it, and I don't think a lot of people did. So that being said, that's why this is coming in dead last, Halloween Resurrection. All right, coming in at number 12 is Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Oh boy, I used to really enjoy this film when I was little, and now that I watch it, it's so boring. It's almost like the Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan. I don't know what they were thinking when they made the best actress they had, which is Danielle Harris, a mute in this film. I don't like the whole start of the Thorn storyline. Don Shanks, who played Michael Myers, I've met him before. He is such a super nice guy, but I didn't like his portrayal as Michael. I don't like the mask. And the two cops that's in it have their own little theme song every time it shows them, like a cartoon character. There's just nothing about this film that reminds me of why I like the Halloween films, if that makes sense. It's not really creepy at all. Dr. Loomis, a lot of people complain about Dr. Loomis being like more, I don't know, mean in this film is what a lot of people say, or, you know, he's going too far. I don't think that's the case because the whole point of he's wanting to put this to an end as well as Jamie. So he does use her as bait, but she went with it. And the finale of the film, this is one of the points that I will give the film. The finale, once Michael gets into the house and he's going after Jamie, she gets into the laundry suit and all that. I think that's phenomenal. I love how the third act is, all the way up until the Man in Black takes Michael out of the cage or the jail cell. But other than that, they totally disrespect Rachel by killing her off in the first 15 to 20 minutes of the film. And then they want us to replace her with one of the most annoying characters of the franchise, which is Tina. I just don't get it. Yeah, this film is another one that when I go back and watch them, I will watch this one. I don't watch Resurrection, but it's one of those that I find myself just kind of laying back and fast forwarding some of it, because to me, it's not a good entry into the Halloween film. And I think if they would have ended it with 4, I think I'd have been happy with that. Okay, coming in at number 11 is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. When I first heard about this film and seen the trailer for it, I was excited for it. I was super stoked. And when I went to the theaters and watched it, I remember me and my brother went and seen it together, because we went and seen the first one. We enjoyed the heck out of the first one, most of it. And I remember leaving that theater, my brother looking over at me and going, "What the hell did we just watch?" And this film has good points and it's got bad points. I'll start off with the good points. Tyler Mane plays a great Michael Myers. I love Tyler Mane's look in this film. A lot of people don't. I love the torn mask. I love that he looks like a hobo. I love that he walks around with this big beard, long hair, and the only time he ever puts the mask on is when he's ready to do some killing. I think that's more realistic. He's vicious in this one. I love the grunts when he's killing people, the noise he makes. Sheriff Brackett, played by Brad Dourif, did a phenomenal job in this film. Man, he's such an underrated actor. His scene when he finds Annie's body is just heartbreaking. And I can still watch it, and I'll still get teary-eyed watching it. I love Brad Dourif. I think he carried the movie. I would love to see him a lot more in the first one and this one. Let me think what the score. Rob Zombie didn't even use any of the original sounds of the Halloween film. He made his own, and I really like the soundtrack to this film. The score, as far as the music and stuff, I think it's an intense music. Jeff Daniel Phillips plays one of the bouncers in the film, and Michael just stomps his face in. Like I said, he's got some good kill scenes in it, but now to the negatives. I don't get why Rob Zombie has to have everything so white trashy, and I'm not a fan of language. You will hear that from me if you continue to watch my videos. I don't like the F words. I don't like GDs. I don't know. I can't get into the white trash talk. And when we was in the theaters watching it, as soon as they loaded his body up and they hit that cow, the 2 paramedics was talking about having sex with a dead body, and they hit that cow. As soon as that started going, I was like, here we go, here we go. More of Rob's writing. I will say this, Rob Zombie's a really good director, but he is not a good writer. He needs to let people write his movies and him direct it, in my opinion. But the language needs to be toned down. He made Laurie Strode absolutely insufferable to sit here through this film and watch. I get that she's traumatized of what happened, but Rob can't just make somebody depressed. He makes them go full blown. Now they're going to spray paint their walls. They're going to put in Charlie We Trust. And you mean to tell me that Brad Dourif's character is just going to let her spray paint her entire bathroom and spray paint the walls? It's like, what? It's nonsense. And the spray painting 666. It's like, Rob Zombie has to always go demonic or satanic with his stuff. And white trash. That's the 2 things that you can expect every time from a Rob Zombie movie. And I'm not a Rob Zombie hater. I love his music. I've seen him multiple times in concerts, but his movies I'm just not a real big fan of. And I'm not a Sherry Moon Zombie hater. Let that be noted. A lot of people are. I loved her in House of 1,000 Corpses. I loved her in Devil's Rejects. And I even thought she did a good job as Lily Munster in the Munsters movie. Yes, I do like that film. So, but in this film, Rob wrote her that part just to get her a payday. It made no sense. Deborah Myers in the 2007 version was a stripper who was trying to support her family, who was in an abusive relationship. She ended up killing herself, and now all of a sudden she's a ghost leading Michael to kill people. No, that was a ripoff of Friday the 13th, Jason following his mama, and this is just another way to get Sherry Moon in the film. I mean, I could go on and on about this film, but like I said, that's why it's coming in at number 11. Okay, coming in at number 10 is Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. this film could have had the potential of being one that could be a huge fan favorite, which I know a lot of people do like this film. But even sitting down and watching the theatrical version or the director's cut, they're both so messy that I just stick with the theatrical, and I like the theatrical ending better. But I will say, my positives about this, Michael's look is fantastic. George Wilbur comes back to play Michael. Rest in peace, George. I think he passed away last year. He played Michael in 4 and in this one. He did a tremendous job. He looks intimidating. This is Donald Pleasance's last film he made. You could tell Dr. Loomis is older in this film, but I still think he was able to have the spirit to play Dr. Loomis one more time, which he did a good job. I don't like the Thorn cult stuff. I don't like the fact that they killed Jamie in the first 15 or 20 minutes of the film. I don't like the fact that, I don't know if they ever said it, but she's carrying apparently Michael's kid. I don't know. I don't like that whole storyline. But it's got some fantastic kills in it, and the music is fantastic. Paul Rudd, I think this is his first movie. He was okay. You'd tell he's just getting his feet wet. He ain't a standout in this film, but he did okay. The main actress, her character's name was Kara. She was all right, but she was really vanilla to me. She was kind of bland. Her mom, Deborah Strode, I thought she did a good job. Her and her abusive husband, John, I think have the 2 best kill scenes in the film. I love when Deborah sees Michael in the house. She takes off running outside, and she gets all the way outside where she's got bed sheets hanging. She drops her glasses, and she's crawling. All of a sudden, she opens the sheets, and there's Michael standing there with that axe, And she's like, Michael. And he just comes down with it, and the blood splatters. And then later on that night, John shows up. He's hammered. He goes down to the basement, and Michael's behind him. And Michael, I don't know if he had a crowbar or what he had, but he sticks John in the stomach, picks him up, carries him over to the electrical box, and just shoves him right in. And, John starts just going nuts. His head explodes. It's fantastic. That being said, this film does have a lot of issues as far as, like I said, the whole cult of Thorn. And they've went away so much of what we loved about Mike, about being just pure evil, that now he's being controlled by a cult. I don't buy that. But that being said, the film is still watchable, and I still enjoy the film. Whoa, Michael, you better calm down there. But that being said, yeah, I like the film, and let's move on to the next one. Okay, coming in at number 9 is Rob Zombie's 2007 remake, Halloween. Oh boy. Sorry, you're going to hear me say this multiple times, but I do like this movie. Tyler Mane is fantastic. We'll finally get introduced to Tyler Mane as Michael Myers. Did a fantastic job. Ken Faree as Joe Grizzly, fantastic job. Malcolm McDowell did a great job as Dr. Loomis. BS what he did in the second one, but he was great in this one. Scout did wonderful as Laurie Strode. Dee Wallace is in it. Daniel Harris did great as Annie. The kills are brutal. It felt like a good remake once you get past the first 15 or 20 minutes. Dave Furch, who played Little Michael, did a fantastic job. But there's Rob Zombie. He can write for the villains, but he can't write for the heroes. He can write the most nastiest, dirtiest lines, but then he can't make anything wonderful. Like, that's just like The Munsters. I do like that film, but still, it's like he don't know how to register, good lines for the heroes. But boy, he can come up with some white trash crap, and this film shows it. And I always find myself skipping the first 15 to 20 minutes of this film when Michael's at home and his mom and her, I guess it's her husband or boyfriend, and they're getting into it. It's his stepdad, I guess. I don't know. But I think what could have fixed this film, especially the beginning of it, is if Rob would have stuck with the original opening, like John Carpenter's 1978 film, but just have it on Halloween night, have Michael watching his sister and boyfriend go upstairs, and having Michael go in the kitchen, and then having the boyfriend come down and right there start and have the same scene where he kills the boyfriend with a bat. He goes upstairs, kills the sister. And if you want to show Ronnie getting duct taped and killed, that's fine, whatever. But just cut it that short. We didn't need to see all the crap at the school where they're bullying Michael about his mom being a stripper in the bathroom and all this crap. We didn't need to see all that. Rob Zombie gives you answers to questions you're not asking for. But I do like where Michael's in the asylum with Dr. Loomis when he's young and older. Overall, I still enjoy the film. I still think it is a good movie. It's one of Rob Zombie's best ones. It may be his best. But like I said, I personally fast forward the first 15 to 20 minutes of the film, but I do still enjoy it. Okay, coming in at number 8 is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. I know this is the one that doesn't have Michael in it, and some people think this doesn't even belong in the Halloween franchise. But I still say if it was just called Season of the Witch, more people would have got on board with it back in the 80s. But I enjoy the film. Tom Atkins is phenomenal, and I can't remember the main actress's name, but they played off each other great. I love the masks. I love the masks, especially the witch one. I love the fact that the main bad guy is taking these little silver shamrocks, putting them back of the mask, and when these kids watch this commercial, you know, the dun 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 dun, and just melting their head, I guess, and like having snakes and spiders come out of their head. It's crazy. The practical effects are wonderful on this film. The soundtrack is great. Overall, this film is just underrated. And like I said, I think having the Halloween title is what hurt this film the most. But it is coming around. People are getting more into this film, but I still enjoy it. Okay, coming in at number 7 is Halloween Ends. When I went to the theaters to watch this film, I had already known some of the spoilers about there being an imposter Michael, and Corey was the main character, but I didn't know the main plot of it. I just knew that Michael wasn't going to be in it as much. And I went with my brother and a buddy of mine, and after we left the theater, we all three agreed that it was a good movie. I just don't think it was a good way to end the new trilogy of the Halloween series. I really feel like you could have took the finale, the ending of Halloween Ends with the fight with Michael and Laurie, and somehow put it with Halloween Kills and made a 2.5 hour movie, and that would have been a great way to end the franchise. But the guy that played Corey, I didn't hate the Corey character. I thought he did a great job. He's a good actor. I just don't understand why you wait till the final chapter of your trilogy to introduce a new character, and you're wanting us to care about him and feel sympathy for him. Like I said, the movie is an actual pretty good movie, but it's just not what everybody wanted to see. And everybody's like, well, it was something different. It was something different. Yeah, but people go to see Michael. Now, the times it does show Michael, I enjoy every bit of it, except for the part where they make him look like a punk, like an old man, when Corey comes in and needs the mask and he takes the mask off and he just tells him, you're nothing but an old beat down man or something like that. The kills are fantastic in this film. The whole junkyard scene is fantastic. My biggest complaint about this film is I feel like there was a lot of lazy writing. And what I mean by that is, in Halloween 2018 and in Halloween Kills, they focused on Michael's mask, and him going home, looking out his sister's window. It's like they got to Halloween Ends and was like, well, we can't come up with a reason why the mask is giving him powers, and we can't come out with a reason why he looks out his sister's window. So they just, we'll destroy the house. Lazy writing. They couldn't come up with something for it. This is just my opinion. They really suggested that he got his powers from his mask. If you look at 2018, he never even acknowledged the podcasters talking to him until they held out the mask, and then he started moving. The dog started barking, the patients started going nuts, and he's like, you can feel it, can't you, Michael? So there was one time in Halloween Kills when he's got Lindsay against the Blazer or the vehicle. Lindsay goes to take off Michael's mask, and he hurries and lets her go and puts the mask back on. And then later in the film, when Laurie's daughter gets the mask off Michael, she goes, you want your mask? And he follows her all the way, and she drops it in the middle of the road so that the town of Haddonfield can pretty much have this big battle with him. Right before he starts fighting, he puts the mask back on, and he's able to get shot, get stabbed, and still live. And then in this one, they don't ever explain anything. I just don't get it. But I thought it would have been cool if, like, on the back of Michael's mask or underneath his mask, you saw like a little shamrock thing. That would have been cool. But that being said, I love the ending. the finale, the final fight with Laurie Strode and Michael, I like it. I wish it would have went a little longer, but I do like it. But other than that, overall, I think the Halloween Ends film is a good movie. It's just not exactly what we wanted to end the trilogy. Okay, coming in at number 6 is Halloween H2O. I still remember when I first seen this film, still loved it. I still love it to this day. I think this is the best portrayal of Laurie Strode that we have gotten. That finale where she grabs that rock and breaks the gate where nobody can go in or nobody can go out, and she goes and yells for Michael, and she's finding him with an axe. She's had enough, and she's fighting for her family. I think the finale, all of it, the final fight, all the way up to the point where she goes to find Michael, all the way up to when she cuts his head off, is tremendous. And when she chops his head off at the end, I was like this in 1998. I was like, I'm done. That was wonderful. They killed Michael. They finally killed Michael. I remember looking at my mom and my brother, and we were all like, they really did it. They killed Michael Myers. And then Resurrection came out. But anyway, boo that movie. But all these years later, I still enjoy H2O. I think the characters are good. LL Cool J did a great job in this. Like I said, I love Laurie Strode. I love her son in this. Her son did a great job. Really not a weak character in the film. There's only a couple things I would have changed. The music. It doesn't really have the Halloween soundtrack, if that makes sense. The score isn't really a real good Halloween soundtrack. I think if this movie could be released now with like the score from the original movie, I think it would even make it a little bit better. The death scenes were good in this film, but another thing is Michael's mask. How hard is it to get the mask right? There's a couple shots that I do like Michael's mask in, but then there's a lot more that I don't. I don't like how you see Michael's eyes in it. But the guy that played Michael didn't do a bad job. But like I said, if the mask ain't scary, then Michael ain't scary. But that being said, I still enjoy this film, and I always look forward to watching this one. I really do. And the opening scene where Michael goes and tries to find out where Laurie Strode's at, and he goes to the nurse's home, and they kind of pay a homage to Dr. Loomis. I thought that was pretty cool. That's what would have made this film even better, is have Donald Pleasence reprise his role. But unfortunately, he had passed. But overall, I still enjoy the film. All right, coming in at number 5 is Halloween Kills. Yes, this movie gets a lot of hate, and I still don't understand why. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I do. Evil Dies Tonight. Yes, I will go ahead and start off with my negatives on this film. The Evil Dies Tonight is annoying. They could have said it just once or twice and been done with it. Second, Tommy, I don't like the character Tommy in this film. They made him annoying in the movie. He didn't serve any purpose just to die at the end of it. I mean, he got the town riled up and he didn't accomplish anything. And then, of course, one of the main things is, how do they not know that the guy they're chasing in the hospital is not Michael Myers? He looks nothing like Michael. I mean, he looks like the Penguin running around, you know. But other than those 3 things right there, I enjoy this film. If you want to see Michael at his most brutal, then this is the film for you. Michael lives up to the name Halloween Kills because he does some killing. The fire scene where he comes out of the fire and he starts taking on the firemen is a tremendous scene. When he kills the old couple next to Laurie's house is a wonderful death scene. Michael's just vicious in this, and this is my favorite look of any of the Halloween series. This look right here on Michael is my favorite. James Jude Courtney is one of the best Michael Myers. Him and Nick Castle, to me, are even. When you think of Jason Voorhees, a lot of people think of Kane Hodder. When I think of Michael Myers, James Jude Courtney is the one right there. He's played him the most, and he did a phenomenal job. But that being said, Kills, overall, I enjoy the flashbacks to the 1978, the original night. They made it look like it was an actual part of the original film. The guy that portrayed Dr. Loomis did a fantastic job. A lot of people complained about Laurie Strode not being in it as much. I mean, she was in it quite a bit. She was just in the hospital. She was in the hospital in Halloween Part 2, and a lot of people love that film. But I really can't complain a whole lot about the film. I still enjoy it. It's one of those that I look forward to watching every time I get a chance. All right, now coming down to the final four. And coming in at number 4 is Halloween 2, 1981. This film right here is one that I still feel like it is a perfect even match, almost, like as far as the shots and the creepiness of Michael. This is one that I love the fact that as soon as I get done watching part 1, I got to put part 2 in. I think this has one of the best opening scenes when Dr. Loomis is down from the balcony and he's down there and he's looking and he sees that Michael's gone. He puts his hand in some blood and all of a sudden you see a light come on and the neighbor's like, "What's going on over there?" And Dr. Loomis is like, "Call the police. Tell the sheriff I shot him." And he's like, "Who?" He goes, "Tell him he's still on the loose." And he's like, "Is this some kind of joke? I've been trick-or-treated to death tonight." And that line, the only way that it can be presented, Dr. Loomis, Donald Pleasence did a great job where he says, "You don't know what death is." And then it's dun 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 dun. My favorite opening of any of the Halloween movies. Love it. And then it just goes right into it. And I love that we're looking back through Michael's eyes again as he's walking through the alleys and he's going to find his next victims and stuff. Overall, the kill scenes are great in this movie. Michael's look, I love the way Dick Warlock played him. A lot of people said he's robotic. I like it. The mask is still the mask from the original. The reason it looks that way is because apparently Deborah Hill had it under her bed since they filmed the first film. And a lot of people thought it was different because of the way it looked, but apparently Dick Warlock's head is wider than Nick Castle's. And that's why it's stretched out. But they really were able to capture the spirit of the first one in this one as far as keeping him in the shadows and how he would appear. And like I said, when the nurse goes to the doctor and she spins him around and she's like, got her hand up over her face, and all of a sudden Michael's face just appears out of the darkness, and he puts the needle through her temple. Great kill scene. The hot tub scene where he shoves the girl's face in the hot tub, and every time he raises her up, she's more cooked. Just overall, a violent film. I love the finale, the final chase with Laurie and Michael. I love the lighting of Michael, like when he's underneath the red street light or whatever he's under. I don't even remember what it is. And it just makes his face glow. Dr. Loomis is at his best in this film. He's not taking any crap from anyone. The final fight where Laurie shoots Michael in both eyes and the blood's coming down. And Michael's sitting there holding his eyes and he's swiping. And Loomis is like, "It's time, Michael." And he sets them both on fire. That was supposed to be the end of Michael Myers. That was supposed to be the death of Dr. Loomis and Michael. But overall, if they would have ended it right there, I was happy. There's 3 films that there's 4 films. If they would have ended it, I'd have been happy. Halloween 2, which is this one. Halloween 4, Halloween H2O, and 2018. If they would have never made another one after any of those, I'd have been happy. But yeah, Halloween 2, man, highly recommend it. And I can still watch it this day and enjoy every bit of it. All right, coming in at number 3 is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. After the unsuccessful Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, they decided to bring back Michael Myers, and boy, did they ever. The opening already to this film, the farmland and the eerie music, oh man, it's the perfect way to open a horror film. Michael is bigger and badder in this film. I love the bandage look of Michael. Dr. Loomis, once again, Donald Pleasence portrays him wonderfully in this film. And my favorite scene of this film is when Dr. Loomis finally meets Michael after he's got the overalls. He's still bandaged up, and he's like, "Michael?" And it zooms in on Michael, and he's just standing there, and he's like, "Don't go to Haddonfield." He's like, "You leave those people in peace." Like, I love that whole speech. And then all of a sudden, he just starts firing at Michael, and Michael's gone, and the music kicks up. Man, overall, this is one of my favorite Halloween films. George Wilbur played Michael in this one. This is his first time playing Michael. He did a fantastic job. And I know, let's talk about the mask. The mask is terrible. I still can't understand why they can't get that mask right. But exclude the mask, get the mask out of there. The characters are great. We finally get introduced to Danielle Harris as Jamie. Rachel is a great final girl. They played off great with each other. They had a good dynamic. And just overall, I feel like this film actually, there wasn't any ridiculous characters in it. What I mean by that is like, even the sheriff was listening to Dr. Loomis and would help Dr. Loomis out. The finale, when Jamie's had enough and she just goes nuts and she stabs her stepmother. And Dr. Loomis comes up, he looks, he's like, no, no. And he's fixing to cap her. And the sheriff grabs his arm and pulls it down. And she's just standing up there with those pair of scissors. She's breathing heavy. I would have loved to see where they were going to go with that, but they ruined it. But how they shoot Michael and he falls down into the well. I mean, overall, this movie is action-packed. I thought they did a great job with it. But overall, this film is just a good watch, a fun watch. And like I said, they actually made Michael creepy again. And the death scenes are brutal in this. And him squeezing, I remember watching that where he squeezes Rachel's boyfriend and just snaps his spine. Oh, man. Shoves the shotgun through the sheriff's daughter all the way up through the wall. I mean, they've got some pretty violent kill scenes in this one. But yes, highly recommend this film. All right, coming in at number 2. We're down to the final 2. And coming in at number 2 is Halloween 2018. This film blew me away when I went and seen it in theaters. I was like, oh, here we go. They're bringing it back. And I didn't like the fact that they got rid of the brother and sister storyline, because I really love Halloween 2, the 1981. And I really wish that they would have kept that, because it would have made more sense about Laurie Strode being so paranoid. Because not only, I get it that she's paranoid 40 years later because of what happened to her friends, but it would have made more sense even going into the hospital night and finding out that that was her brother, you know. But that being said, 2018 did a phenomenal job paying homage to the original. It really captured the spirit of the original. It finally, after a few crappy remakes and a few crappy sequels, they made Michael scary again. And this is where the world got introduced to James Jude Courtney as Michael. He did a phenomenal job. I love the mask. The death scenes are amazing. I love the one-take shots especially where Michael has got his mask on and it's Halloween night and he sees a woman up her driveway and he goes up her driveway, he grabs the hammer, he follows her through the house, he beats her in the head, which is another thing I like, is they didn't have to show the brutality. It's just like the original. You knew what was happening, but you didn't have to see it to be like, ooh. And then it follows through the kitchen, goes to the crib where you can hear the child crying, and then Michael goes out the front door and the music picks back up. The scenes in this and the details were so tremendous. He even got the needle mark where Laurie stabbed him in the first one in the mask. Laurie Strode, we see her come back, and I love her in this film too. But it was just cool to see Jamie Lee Curtis come back after 40 years to reprise this role of the original. I know she came back in 98 and then, of course, 2002. But the things I would change is Dr. Satan, I think his name is. I didn't care for that. I didn't like where he put the mask on and was like, make room for my patient. I didn't like any of that, but I thought the characters were great. Like I said, the theme where he's chasing Allison, where he just killed her friend and her friend's hanging on the gate and it's going up through his jaw, and you hear the drum beat coming in and that guitar riff, boy, when Michael comes out, and I think the score is actually like The Shape Stalks Allison or something like that. That's phenomenal. You can tell John Carpenter was back, him and his son doing the music for this one. Overall, this film is still one of the ones that I love to pop in anytime and watch. And I would have been 100% happy. I remember walking out of the theater in Nashville, Tennessee when I watched this film. And when they set him on fire, they set the basement on fire all around him. When it ended, I was like, I was cool. I didn't know whether we were getting 2 more sequels, but I was happy. I was like, heck yeah, they made it count. They brought it back. It had enough humor in it, violence, creepiness, everything about this film I enjoy. The final fight with Laurie was phenomenal. I really wish we could still get a director's cut and see the knife fight, apparently, that took place on a lawn that they filmed that was never released. Because I want to say that Michael actually dies at the end of it, and maybe that's why they didn't release it. But overall, 2018, amazing. Love the film. And coming in at number 1, of course, is the OG, Halloween 1978. Film written by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. To me, in my opinion, this is the greatest horror movie of all time. Still my favorite. And this film right here shows that you don't have to have a lot of nudity, language, or blood to make a successful horror film. And I think that's why it's going to go ahead and continue to inspire generations to make horror films. And if I was going to introduce anybody to a horror film, this would be the first one. You can't beat the score. You can't beat Michael Myers. The casting was perfect for this film. Man, it's I know it's about Laurie and Michael, but to me it's more about Dr. Loomis and Michael. Because sometimes you think Dr. Loomis is just as crazy as Michael. But I absolutely love this film. This is one that I watch, not just on Halloween. I'll watch it a couple of times, maybe even several times throughout the year. And I still enjoy it. It still gives me chills on certain parts of it. When he finds her upstairs and he cuts her arm and she falls down the steps. From that point on, man, I'm hooked, line, sinker. I've got the hair standing up on my arms when she's screaming for Tommy to open the door. I mean, it's just a good overall horror film. Love it. I think it's always going to be my number one. And so far, I think I've only seen 2 rankings where this wasn't number one. But like I said, nothing about this film I can say negative, really. Music, characters, kill scenes, everything. I love it. And call me biased, but that's why it's always my number one go-to is Halloween. Well, all right, that's it for my ranking of the Halloween films. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and leave your rankings in the comments. You left me rankings in the Friday the 13th video. I love them. I love the interaction. I love hearing your guys' and gals' opinions. I'd love to hear them on the Halloween franchise, especially since this is my favorite of the genre. And also, if you love horror movies and you love listening to podcasts, check out mine and my buddy Randy's podcast, Small Town Horror with Johnny and Randy. We're available for download on iTunes. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere you can get podcasts. We are available. And if you can't get enough Halloween, we just released a Halloween 45 episode where we discussed all things Michael Myers, all things Halloween, all the way from favorite kill, favorite mask, favorite character to play Michael. I mean, everything. So, anyway, with that being said, thank you for tuning in and watching. And as always, remember to stay creepy.